Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, bringing you some more Call of Duty Black Ops gameplay. This time it's a demolition gameplay, team tactical demolition, on the map Nuketown, and I am using the dreaded AK-74U. Now you might say, you've run the series, fed up of the FAMAS, what's the point of it if you are going to use the 74U? Now, the 74U is so much worse than the FAMAS. Even with rapid fire, the FAMAS will still beat it most of the time, apart from right up close. But if, say, the other team is using pretty much all FAMAS or all Ghost, you can crack out the 74U and have a good game with them anyway, compete with the FAMAS. But it's not as good as the FAMAS, so don't post too many hate comments. Anyway, the gameplay is a very nice gameplay. I think it's my fastest ever set of dogs in this, under a minute, but I'm not going to talk about that. Today I'm going to do a little bit more of a relaxed commentary. I'm going to talk about how I got into gaming. Now, at the moment I'm 19 and I've got my PS3, and sometimes you forget how you started out in gaming, but the first game I ever played was Duck Hunt on my mate's NES. It might have been the Super NES, but it was Duck Hunt, and I think his dad got it for him, or his dad probably got it for himself, to be honest, so he could play it. But it was such a fun game, just a little 2D interface with ducks flying over the screen, and you get 3 bullets and try and shoot as many as you could, and your dog, your faithful Hund, would run out and pick up as many of the birds as you shot. So it was such a fun game. It was the one that came with the Mario. Which Mario game was it? Was it Super Mario Brothers, something like that? It came in the cartridge that was about the size of your fist, and you had to clunk into the top. But that was my first game, and that was the only game I played until I was about 6 or 7, when one Christmas my dad bought me a PS1, and he bought me the original Crash Bandicoot, the original Medal of Honor, and FIFA 98, and I was the happiest little kid you could ever imagine, and I played Crash Bandicoot pretty much all of the day. But it's not the game that I remember most from that. The game I remember most from that is the original Medal of Honor, and ever since I played that game I've been hooked on shooting games. And it was such a simple game, the graphics weren't brilliant, but it was PS1, so what were you going to do? But it was so fun, and I did co-op against my dad. I did the campaign. I found the campaigns a lot harder when I was a young kid. I couldn't hit a barn if I was standing inside the barn, but somehow I was still better than my dad, because he could barely hold the controller without dropping it or throwing it somewhere. So I beat him in co-op, and then one day I finally managed to beat the campaign. I was like, yes, what a sense of achievement that was. Yeah, my first campaign beating as I was probably about 9 when I beat the campaign in the end. But Medal of Honor got me hooked on shooter games ever since, and since that day, from that day onwards, I was a bit of a Medal of Honor fanboy. I got pretty much every Medal of Honor game after that. I got Frontline, Rising Sun, all of them. I upgraded to a PS2 by the time Rising Sun came out, and I really enjoyed those games, especially Frontline. Frontline's probably my favourite PS2 game. It was a brilliant campaign. Once again, Medal of Honor always does good campaigns. This was before the days of multiplayer, really, apart from just playing with your mates and 4 controllers. And you had that L plug-in for your PlayStation, which could plug you in a couple more controllers. And my mate used to bring that round, and we'd have Medal of Honor battles with each other, and that was fun times. But I was a huge Medal of Honor fanboy until one of my mates said, "Hey, have you played Call of Duty 2? It's a really good game." And I'd been a little bit sceptical about the Call of Duty franchise, because I was a massive Medal of Honor fanboy, as I've said, and I thought, what could be better than Medal of Honor? Surely it's just doing the same thing. But I played Call of Duty 2, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't get online, I think, at all. I might have got online on my mate's house a little bit, but I didn't get online at my house. But I played the campaign, and I really enjoyed being the British. It was a good change up to be the British, and that's one of the things I do enjoy with Call of Duty, because a lot of the games out there are how one American soldier seems to save the world against Russia, China, Korea, everyone united against this one guy, and he'd get plugged with 60 bullets and keep walking around the place, and that's fun for a while. But when every game out there is like that, it's sometimes nice to play as the British, a little bit more understated, and like, oh, jolly good show, chaps, and tea and handshakes at the end, instead of the ending of Black Ops is a key example of that. If that was a British ending, they would have all gone, that's a jolly good show, should we sit back and have a nice cup of tea? But instead you come up to the surface and basically the entire US Navy is there playing rock music. It's just, yeah, we wouldn't do that in Britain, but it's quite fun still. Anyway, I played Call of Duty 2 and I really enjoyed it. And after that point, I was always interested in Call of Duty games more than Medal of Honor. Fortunately for me, I didn't get Call of Duty 3 because I think that's still regarded as possibly the worst Call of Duty ever. In fact, there's not even the possibly about it. It is the worst Call of Duty ever. I played it a little bit at my mate's house, and I didn't really play it enough to understand how bad it was. But I thought, this isn't as good as COD 2. So I didn't decide to get it in the end, which was good, because it marched into a shitstorm of hate, to be quite honest with you. And there was a worry that the Call of Duty franchise might be finished after that, because I hadn't played a bad Medal of Honor game at that point. I know a lot of them were beginning to get a little bit samey, but I enjoyed every Medal of Honor game I had. Yet when I played Call of Duty 3, I thought, this isn't as good as Medal of Honor or COD 2. Perhaps Call of Duty's finished. And then what came up next? Probably my favourite game of all time, Call of Duty 4. It was as near to a perfect shooter game you're going to get. Pretty much every weapon on the game was balanced, apart from the possible exception of the M16. Frag times 3 was a little bit annoying, but apart from that, it was pretty much perfect. There wasn't a map on that game that I hated. There was some I didn't like as much, like Block, for example. But I could go into a game, you could choose my weapons, you could choose my perks, you could choose everything, and I would still have a very, very good time using them. That's how good that game was. And I played that to death. I had 25 days of online gameplay, I think. I hit Prestige 10 after about 14 days. Yes, it was about 14 days I hit Prestige 10. So I carried on playing it after I'd ranked up at all the highest I could go, and that just shows you how much I enjoyed that game. I got the AK-47, the Dragunov Golden, the Mini Uzi, and the shotgun. I didn't get the M60 because I preferred to be a little bit more mobile, and you run like a fat kid when you have when you have an M60 out. But I still did use the M60 a lot. I couldn't be bothered with a gold camo for it. So I was a pretty hardcore Call of Duty player, and obviously when news that World at War was coming out, I was one of the first fanboys. I think I got it on I did get it on the day of release actually. I didn't queue up and get it at 12 like some people did, but what I did is I got up early and got to the shops. I think just after they'd opened, it was probably about 10 past 9. I got one of the first copies they sold after opening for the morning. And I sat there and I played it, and for 2-3 weeks I was like, yeah, this is really good. And then I started realising some things, and some YouTube commentators that I was watching. This was the days of, Wings of Redemption hadn't even started. And I think it was just Blame Truth and Hutch and Cnanas a little bit, and players like that. I remember watching Xcal and Blame Truth are the two that I really remember watching at that point though, and they were beginning to see what the problems were, like getting annoyed with the everyone using MP40 jug with the extended mags. And I looked into the game and I said, yeah, that's right, a lot of people do use that. And I don't know what it was. Perhaps it was going to be a problem following such a great game as Modern Warfare 1 COD 4, but it didn't really live up to my expectations, and it dented my faith in first-person shooters, I have to say, and that faith still hasn't been restored. I'm still a huge first-person shooter fan. It's a game it's a game type I play a lot more than anything else apart from FIFA, but I'm still looking for that one game that'll make me as happy as Medal of Honor Frontline will, or that Call of Duty 4 will. And I seriously hope that Modern Warfare 3 is the game to do that, but I've seen the E3 footage and it looks brilliant, but it looks like Modern Warfare 2 all over again, and that game was really, really annoying for me. So hopefully Modern Warfare 3 will patch what happened in Modern Warfare 2 and restore my faith in first-person shooters. But recently, as my enjoyment I have gained from first-person shooters declined, I've moved into other franchises such as Fight Night, FIFA, UFC Undisputed. I'm quite into my fighting games now. If you haven't tried a fighting game, I do recommend it. They really are fun. The UFC Undisputed is the most fun game to play with a friend. It really is. It's got so arcadey. So if you've never played it before, you can pick it up and have a good game with it. But if you've put the time in to get good at it, you can really stomp on your friends, and that's such a fun game to play. But that's just a little history of how I got into gaming and how I got to where I was today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit different to what I normally do, but perhaps if you haven't enjoyed it, leave a comment saying why. But I just wanted to try something a little bit different. I just wanted to freshen it up a little bit. If you have enjoyed the video, please like and comment as always, and leave a comment saying how you got into gaming. What's the first game you remember? What's your favourite game you've ever played? And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.